Hi, everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and we are live on a Friday lunchtime, which means it's time for us to talk about coping with feelings. And boy, have I had a week of incredible feelings. Hold on one second. I've just realized I need to hold on. I need to turn the volume down on this. If I can remember how to do it. Come on. There we go. I am technologically challenged today. Hold on. Oh, it's on the wrong one. That's why I'm having a problem. I've got two different devices here. Maybe that worked. I hope so. Gosh, that's so funny. I'm busy trying to turn down the volume on the wrong one. No, now I got to get set up again. All right, this is DearMamaSal. And welcome to our Friday broadcast talking about coping with feelings. And I'm feeling a bit stupid now, but I know I'm not. So just let me get back to where I was. There we go. And hi there, by the way, Jody. And for those of you who don't know, Jody is our admin and does a wonderful job of looking after me and making sure that I sort of keep on track as far as possible and doing our research, for which I'm very, very grateful. Today, I've got hopefully a very fun broadcast. Two things. My feelings, first of all, there are no coincidences, right? I mean, really, there are no coincidences. For some reason, you're looking at somebody who normally doesn't go to bed until about 2 in the morning. And for some reason last night at 10 o'clock, I went to bed. And I'm going, that feels really strange, but never mind. Oh, that wasn't a good idea. But never mind. I can do that. So I went to bed at 10 o'clock and I was asleep before midnight. Which meant that I was awake at 7:30 this morning and going, I'm not used to being awake at 7:30, but never mind. I was up early enough that I saw the frost. I mean, normally I wake up after the frost is gone, but I saw the frost and it was quite exciting. And I'm thinking, why? Why did I have to go to bed early? I was all prepped for the broadcast. Why did I need to go to bed early? But I'm a great believer in there's always a good reason. I just have to wait it out and find out why. And the why was my Christmas present arrived in the morning. I wasn't expecting it to arrive until afternoon or evening, but it came about 9 o'clock. And I went, that is why I needed to be in bed early and wake up early so I could get this ready to show you. Because, unpacking these things takes a while, right? So we're going to be talking about that. And also we're going to be talking about the fact that Benji came to visit me this week. And it was just such a wonderful visit. I am so grateful to him for coming to visit me. And I've got lots to tell you about that visit, but obviously for those of you who might not know, the important thing is to know that they are pregnant yet again, and they are pregnant with yet another girl. And I was talking to Benji about that, and what he said to me was he felt really comfortable about that, really comfortable about that, because he knows about bringing up girls. And I said, well, sure, you guys are definitely very well, schooled in bringing up girls. So very, very exciting stuff. But I've got lots of news for you about that. And remember my quote to you some time ago about family isn't always blood. It's the people in your life who want you in theirs, the ones who accept you for who you are, and the ones who would do anything to see you smile and who love you no matter what. You know, I really have to say, with tears in my eyes, literally, that I really get that sense with Benji and Judy and the family, that they have just been so good. Um, yes, Sandy, hi there. Yes, it is wonderful news, and I'll be talking more about that in a second. But the other thing is, I just wanted to show you my Christmas present, um, which we will be seeing more of this evening. But what I did is this year, I bought 2 Christmas presents for myself because I knew that inflation was going to hit me even more, and I knew that availability would be difficult. So I bought them both early. You know that I bought myself a new laptop, and that's fine. And then this was my second one. Ta-da! And I will be showing you more about it this evening, testing it for you. But I just wanted to talk about why. For those of you who are long-time viewers, hold on, I just want to get Hal out. You will all know that I have got my halogen oven that I've had for a long time, many, many years. And I quite honestly am not retiring it. I love Hal. Hal is full of, it acts as storage for me. Hal is really important to me because I have 2 risers on it, 2 of these. I can do a full-size turkey in Hal. And what I wanted to explain is, why did I get this as well as having Hal? And I just want to put Hal away, that you all know about Hal, my halogen. So it was that was like unveiling a new car. Yes, it was, wasn't it, Jody? Here is the thing. The reason I wanted this is I needed a new toaster oven. And today, if you're going to get a toaster oven, why wouldn't you get an air fryer toaster oven? I mean, to me, that's a no-brainer. Does that make sense to anybody else? If you've got to get one, and why wouldn't you get one that is multifunctional? Now, I love Hal, but Hal comes out maybe once or twice a week. It's not what I call an everyday appliance. We've got to get a name for this one. Cal. Oh, Cal. Right, because it's caloric. All right. This one is going to be my workhorse. This one is the one that I will use every day for my everyday cooking. And what I want to do this evening is to show you the comparisons between the convection oven that I've already got below here that you can't see, and this one, because I wanted to show you why did I get this one. But I think the thing that, for all of you who know me well, the gizmos have to give me joy. And the one that I previously brought gave me no joy whatsoever. And this one already has. Watch this. It's got French doors. I mean, really, go figure. And you just have to open one for them both to open, right? Isn't that cool? And it comes with all sorts of baskets and trays and a rotisserie and all sorts of things, which we will be playing with this evening. But watch this. It's way cool because you can decide whether you want to air fry or use it as a regular oven or as an air fryer. And then it's got all these pre-programmed choices on it. Like for air fry, if I click air fry, it gives me chicken, a warming oven. If I just want to, ribs, shrimp, steak, wings, bacon, fish, corn, fries. It dehydrates. I love that. dehydrates or it does veggies. All right, Jody, for our pan fry veggies. But if I go to oven, it has bake, broil, pastry, pizza, proof, if I want to proof my dough, um, roast, toast, and grill. So it's what I think you don't have to think. Right. So Sandy's saying I don't have space, so I'm waiting for our toaster to go. Couple of things that what I want to tell you about. I did a test run of it. I sent it going for 20 minutes on its highest level to burn off the factory oils and things. I want to tell you it gets really hot at the back. So if you get something like this, make sure you test that out first of all. And so therefore you don't want it too close to anything at the back. They say to leave 4 inches, which means that you've got to bring it quite a way forward. The other thing is it is tall. It's taller than mine, other one. This thing is 16 inches high. My other one is only 12 inches high. So that's 4 inches closer to this cupboard with my computer in it. So, but I did a test and the top doesn't get as warm. It's the back that it gets warm. Don't get me wrong. And the sides get really warm. So there's another thing. If you've got children, be really careful if you get one of any air fryer. They get really hot, obviously, because of what they do. They can go up to high heat. And we want that for searing meat and cooking stuff. All right. So that's what I found out so far. And I did do just a test run to make sure it works, and it does. All right, so Sandy's saying, where my toaster is, there is clearance, but my Instapot would have to relocate. Yes, this is called, you may need to reorganize your kitchen. Now, mine's not going to live here. It's going to live under here. But what worries me is behind I have not tile. I have some, what I think is not tile. So that was my concern. I'm probably am going to need to be careful. Let me just have a look here. This is including the buffer at the back, 13 and a half. And this is, oh, that's good. The toaster oven I have is 14, so I got an extra inch right there. Good, we like that. So, but how many of you can imagine how much fun I'm going to have with this? And it's going to be used every day. So why would I spend the money when I already have Hal and I have a beautiful oven? What do you think? What are your feelings about why would I spend that money this year? Let's see if you can understand my rationale. You see, the thing is this, why would I fire up a huge oven like that every day when I can fire up a small one? That's saving money right there. Agreed? The other thing is, this has all the function. Yes, so Jody's saying energy saving, health benefits. Yes, let's get on to that. How many of you know I am really trying to make sure that I eat more and more healthily, and therefore I need cooking to be fun, but not with oil, all right? Yes, Sandy, because things are increasing. We know that the cost of things is dramatically increasing. I bought this Black Friday price because of that, all right? And I said to myself, what do I know is probably going to fail me within the next 6 months? And my toaster oven was one, and my other computer was the second one because it was already giving me major problems. It was hardly working. So I look at it and go, okay, yes, this is expensive money I didn't want to spend, but money I need to spend. Why? Because I'll be grateful that I did, I hope. So how many of you know just the fact that it's got the double doors gave me great pleasure. And the other thing I must warn you about, if you get one of these things, get one with a proper filter on it. The other one I bought and sent back, did not have a filter. And so the first time I turned it on high, it set off all my smoke alarms in the house twice. And I'm going, no, I don't need that anymore. All right. So should I put it away so we can't see it? No, I just stopped talking about it. Right. Okay. So happy Christmas, Sal. You can stay there. Don't let me have it on there when I cook this evening. Oh, yeah. Sandy, I want to tell you, the other one really scared me. It was just not the same quality. And the other thing that I wanted to say, you notice I'm not talking about it anymore. The other thing I wanted to say was one of the first things I did was to cut a barbecue mat so that I can use it in the drip tray. And by the way, I've got it so that when it sits in the drip tray, it's a little bit bigger so that if anything drips into there, it's not going to go underneath. And the good news is this does happen to be a black tray, which is always a good idea. Why? Because this is going to get grease on it. But I immediately did that. And if I'm not using this and I'm just using the crumb tray, then I can just slip it in there. And so if anything does drip onto it, it's going to keep it clean. How many of you are going, that's going to save me a whole lot of time just having that there? And aesthetically, it's not quite as bright in there because I've got the black at the bottom, but do I care? No, it's going to save me a lot of work. So what I wanted to check, though, with those of you who are presently here, what do you feel you would like to see me cook tonight with my new gizmo? Let me know. And I'll let you know whether I can. When I say whether I can, whether I've got the ability. I've got some chicken that I can cook, and I need to cook, so I thought I would do that. I'm going to do some fries because why wouldn't I? Isn't that part of the reason why we have an air fryer? And I will do some bread because I have some dough available. All right, so there we go. Let me carry on with the broadcast as I intended it to be before my present arrived. For those of you who don't know who DearMamaSal is, it's not just me. It's a group of us who get together 3 times a week to cope with life, and we all need to. And I want to say I am very, very grateful to you all for being there. I don't know about the rest of you, but I saw something on the news last week that really rocked my boat, rocked my soul. I was so saddened by it. I had feelings of great sadness. And it was about a 9-year-old Afghani girl who was sold to a 65-year-old guy because the father didn't have enough money to pay for food for the family, so he sold the one child. Now, I don't know about you, that just made me want to throw up. But the good news today, or yesterday, I saw that a news organization had been in touch with a charity that works on these things, and that girl was taken away from that guy. I don't know whether they paid him off or what they did, but they've got the girl away, and they took her home to her mother and other sisters and brothers, and now they have removed the mother and the other girls. Actually, I think they moved all the children away from that father, and the principle that any father that will sell their children didn't deserve to have them there, and they've moved them into safekeeping. And I don't know about you, that really made me happy. I felt really, really good about that. Um, and it was just like, boy, all in the space of a week. And what I loved about it was it's getting a lot of publicity, which means that the organization that did it will get a lot more funding. And I am just so happy to hear that. Please remember to follow us on Facebook and Twitter, because that's where we put up information about our viewers that I think we'd like to share. And or if we have a problem with the broadcast or something, we would update you there. Just in terms of thoughts and prayers, we've had a busy week this week. Jody, our thoughts and prayers with you. I know you've had a tough week this week with a lot of pain and things going on. And, what can I say? There are no words. Just hang in there and keep doing the best you can. And please remember to look after yourself. You're very important. For those of you who know Jeannie's husband, York, is doing fine after his eye surgery. He was a little uncomfortable yesterday, straight after the surgery, but I believe now that he's wearing his shades. He's got to wear dark glasses for a while, and wearing shades in the Maine winter. That should be quite funny, I would think. But I'm glad to hear that. I did hear from Erin. And so let me just read to you what Erin sent me. Hold on 1 second, people, so I can read this. Erin said, the eye surgery went fine. They got the kidney stone they were after. 1 second. I'm doing better today, that's today day, than I was yesterday. She had the operation history. She said there's a lot of pain that goes along with the recovery, and I'm very tired, but I made it through, and that's what matters. The rest will take care of itself. And she said, love you, big hugs, and yes, you can share. She knows me very well, because when I get information like that, my first thing I do is write back and go, may I share this with people? And I love that she always ends with, and yes, you may share. Thank you, Erin. I really appreciate it. And we're glad to hear that they got the stone and you're doing well. I don't know of any birthdays this week. We had Pat's yesterday. But other than that, I don't know of any coming up in the near future. So if you've got a birthday that I don't know about, please let us know at DearMamaSal@gmail.com, and we'll add it to our list if we haven't already got it there. And I've just messed up, that happens. Just to let you know, we are now on the 2nd, so very soon I'm about to have my booster shot. And has anybody got any feelings about the new virus that's going around? If so, let's talk about it while we can. From what I gather, and I could be wrong on this, from what I gather, although it's a very virulent, it gets transmitted very easily. It's not as severe as Delta, as far as I know, but I could be wrong on that. And before we get over the thoughts and prayers and thanks, I wanted to again thank Lynn, you know who you are, who does the little thumbnail pictures that we put up to let you know that there's a broadcast coming up. Thanks, Lynn. I really appreciate it. Don't ever want you to think I don't appreciate the time you take to do that. So, boy, it's been quite something. Getting on to what's going on this week, let me just talk to you a little bit here. I wanted to check with how your feelings are this week. How are your feelings, for example, about the school shooting that happened in the States? I can't remember which state it was in, but the school shooting that happened. How do you guys feel about that? Or how do you feel that they have now actually charging the parents as well? Which is a totally new thing as far as I know. Michigan, thank you very much. How do you feel about the fact they're now charging their parents who bought the gun for the child and didn't have it locked up? I have to tell you that just my view is, yay, about time. About time. To have a child that is angry, and buy them a gun and then not lock it up. It's not very responsible. By the way, is it true that the teachers caught him looking for ammunition online? Yeah, I think the more accountability, I don't get me wrong, I understand your Second Amendment right. I totally get that. For those of you who live in the States, I understand that's your Second Amendment. It's very important to you. But irresponsibility, a gun is a lethal weapon. Mind you, so is a car. And if you think about it, we have to do an awful lot to qualify to be allowed to use a car. Think about that. And yet, to me, it's almost incredulous to think. It makes me mad to think that a kid can get hold of a weapon that would do that much damage. And you're looking at somebody who was trained to shoot at an early age. Don't get me wrong, in case you think that I never did. I did. I lived on a farm, and I was taught to shoot very early on because we needed to. It was a time, guys are probably too young, but it was a time in my life where we had a virus that went through the rabbits called maximatotus. I don't know if any of you remember that. Wow, that's a long time since I've talked about that. But where literally we were out and shooting rabbits that were spreading that virus because it was affecting the livestock, and it was important that I learned how to shoot because we all had to do our bit in that one. But again, I want to tell you, our shotguns were all double locked up in a safe, and we only were allowed to carry them empty, never allowed to fill them. If we walked with them, they had to be they were double-barreled shotguns. They had to be what they call broken. In other words, they're not like that; they're like this. We had such strong rules about how we use them and when, and boy, I would never have been allowed to just pick up that gun and go out with it. Never. And I don't think it should happen. That's my rant for the day. All right. Now, obviously, I had great feelings of joy about Benji's visit, and I'm going to talk to you about that. Did any of you have any feelings of joy this week? Let me know. And if you are not in the broadcast, but you're watching this on the replay, feel free to leave a comment later. I also have feelings of great joy this week, and big thanks to Jody yet again, because you will remember that last week we did meal prepping. Just hold on one second. And you will remember when I was meal prepping, I sort of filled various jars with 1/3 of a cup of rice, 1/3 of a cup of macaroni, which I haven't used. Maybe we'll do macaroni and cheese tonight. And we did one with, what else? I think so. Anyway, I had different, what would it have been? Rice, pasta. What else did I have? I can't remember. Anyway, but what I did was I was really good at reducing my carbs this week. Hi there, Kimmy. How are you doing? Really good about reducing the carbs, and that has really affected. Ramen was one of them. Thanks, Jody. But the good news is my blood sugar. Yay! For those of you who understand blood sugar levels, they dropped down to under 110 in American, which is under 5.9 in Canadian for the first time in months. I could, and that was after I inhaled 2 bags of candy. Go figure that one. So obviously my diet was clean enough that I could absorb the sugar without it, causing a major problem. And I have found that for some reason Werther's don't spike me as much, which is perhaps not a good thing. But there we go. So this pre-prepping about portion control, very important. We'll talk more about that. So I had great joy at that. The other thing, yeah, Jody, I knew you'd be proud of me because you knew that I'd been striking in the 7s and even up to 8s, ever since Halloween. And so to be able to get to 5.9 or below 110, I think it is in American, just gave me such joy. And I just went, mind you, I have consumed a lot of water. I do know that, and Jody taught me this, if you go out of whack, which I surely did, a couple of things. Number one, drink a lot of water, even if you have to flavor it. And I find doing crushed ice and a little bit of pineapple juice, even though it's got sugar in it, I can drink a lot of water like that. The other thing is intermittent fasting. Jody taught me about that as well, where literally I will get up and I will just drink coffee. I know officially in intermittent fasting, coffee is not necessarily what you do, but that's how I do it. I drink coffee or I allow myself any liquid, but I don't start eating until sort of about 5, 6 o'clock at night. And that way, that helps a great deal. And then I'm allowed to have basically what I want as long as the portions are good. So that has worked really, really well. And I do encourage you, those of you who have an issue, to think about that. And Jody, I just want to make sure you know that you've made a difference, but then I know I can control it now after I've lost control. Did any of you have any feelings of achievement this week? Jody was saying here that, she got, hang on, wait, me see. She was saying that she mailed some Christmas cards and that brought her great joy. Yeah, I need to get smarten up because I do need to do my local Christmas cards. I'm hoping that my international ones are well on their way. I mailed those out, at least 2 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, I think. And then my international, my US ones I mailed out about a week ago. Oh, interesting. Sandy. Oh, gosh. Hang on a second, Sandy. Let me show people what you did. Hold on a sec. Sandy's got Sandy, what a great feeling of achievement, right? This is the toilet roll. And Sandy's got her embroidery machine. And what she's been doing is embroidering the front panel, the first page, if you like, of the toilet roll. All right, Sandy, give us some of the fun things that it says. I remember having something about a crappy Christmas, but trust me to remember that one. But and she's saying she's sold a couple of toilet rolls. What a great idea. Now, personally, I'm going, how on earth? You must have really good quality toilet paper for it not to break apart while you are sewing it. With my luck, if I tried to embroider anything, not that I have a machine that does that, but if I tried to do that, I would have great problems. Oh, tip of the day. If you're having people come to visit, all right, if you're having people come to visit, you do know that, what the realtors well, I don't know if they do in your neck of the woods, but what my realtor taught me was how to just fold your toilet roll like that. All right. But now here's the next thing. If you want it to look really cute and it's a brand new roll, what you do is you go to your faucet, turn it on. All right, so now when I turned it on so it's wet, and then you press your toilet roll against it. Now that happens to be my kitchen one. Try it with your bathroom faucet and you will go, and it just looks really cute, doesn't it? Sandy's saying one of the things that she's been embroidering on are sprinkles are for cookies, not for toilet seats. How do you stop it tearing? That's what I can't get. If I know I just waste so much time and effort just because I keep breaking the toilet. Or is it, very high quality toilet paper? Help me here. I need to know. But talking about creativity, for all of you who saw that I had made these Christmas cards, you saw them last week. My creativity, remember I had a lot of problems that I was having with the blades and everything else. And then after the broadcast on Sunday, I said to myself, because that's my mentality, I am going to go and sit down and I'm going to work out the bug until I've got it fixed. And I don't care if it takes me all night. Now, Jody knows this about me. And I think some of you are getting it now. But what I did was I sat down, and by about 2:00 in the morning, I'd had all the bugs taken out of it. So then, I had to cut another one. And then that worked. And so I had to cut another one. And once I'd done that, I was so proud of myself. And I ended up in a production line of them where I literally, I was on a roll and it was working. How many of you relate to that? Like when they're working, you keep going. So I don't mind if I don't use them this year. I will make more, and I just think they're so pretty, right? Now, I was talking last week about those of us who are creative people. The biggest problem we have is we will want to do this and we will struggle with it. And by the way, when I give these cards, I don't spoil them. I actually make a separate thing that I drop in here to say who it's from and explain that I've left it like this so they can use this as a Christmas decoration without my writing on it. Okay. But how many of you can understand this, that when I'd finished that, I went, they would look really good in my window. Can any of you imagine that along the bottom of a window? And I did it. It's like 2 feet long and this high. And I've got 2 bay windows, and I've got one set in each window. So but I'm pretty certain that you will understand the creativity of that. As soon as you got one thing mastered, your mind immediately goes, yes, but what if? But I only did that after I'd made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I've got another one. After I made 8 of them. Only then did I say, yeah, now I got that working. But how do you think I felt having achieved that? Sandy, how long did it take you to master and what Sandy's telling me, she did that embroidery She does 3 layers and use an embroidery stabilizer. All right, that would be like you'd use in dressmaking. What do you call it? Interfacing and dressmaking, that sort of stuff. You put that underneath. So, so if anybody is interested in what Sandy did, Sandy, can they contact me and then I will put them in touch with you? Yeah. I don't have an embroidery machine, otherwise, I'd already be doing it. But I'm wondering, can I do it with vinyl? I guess I could, right? It would be a fun gift, especially to give to guys. You know what I'm thinking? Guys are always so difficult. Yeah. So let's keep this creativity going. I thought it was really clever. The other thing that I achieved this week is I got my Christmas tree up. I was very excited about that. And I have found that my house, you understand, although I've been I've had the house for 2 Christmases. This is the first Christmas I've spent in it because you remember last year I was displaced because of the fire. So it was quite strange where I'm going. I don't have, I think you all will agree that Christmas decorations have their place, right? You're going to unpack the tree and the tree goes here and this decoration goes here and this one goes there. Well, I didn't have that history because this is the first time I've tried to decorate the house. So Sandy's saying some people do it with vinyl and some with sublimation. All right, now sublimation, that you need a different printer for, right? I don't have that printer. Anyway, but the thing is, I think it's a good idea. You could use vinyl. Oh, you could do a vinyl treat bag. Yes. And then put the toilet roll in it. Tie it with a bow. That's a good idea. But I'm thinking, quite honestly, you could just, do a little bit of a design and just literally put the vinyl straight on. I might even try that because I don't have anything to do. Right? I'm just thinking there are a couple of guys I know that would get great joy out of that. Okay, so good to know. So exciting, all these things. I had feelings of sadness this week, some of which I will talk about on Sunday. But for me, the greatest sadness in a way was the fact that we're expecting snow. We're expecting it tomorrow and then more later in the week. Now, I don't do snow. I'm a sun person. Don't bring me snow. It's why I don't live in Maine or New Hampshire or any of those places. And I'm about as south in British Columbia as I can get. So, but the difference is that this year I do have boots that I can go out in the snow with, for those of you who remember. Me trying to shovel snow wearing my runners. Yeah, it was quite funny, wasn't it? Actually, what I do need to do is to find my snowblower. And I don't know if any of you have seen it, but some of you might have done. But I've got a snowblower, which is like a vacuum cleaner. It's about the size of a vacuum cleaner. And it's great for doing a driveway and ideal for where I live. So I'm really going to dig that out and make sure it's somewhere handy. Just so that you know, I am a bit relieved. The atmospheric rivers that have been hitting British Columbia, I think they're over now. But we had 3 this week. I want to tell you, it literally is like somebody opens up a fire hose on top of your house. The amount of water was just incredible. And I am just very grateful that I don't live in a flood area, but my heart goes out to those people in my area that were hit, because the flooding has been quite something. Scary stuff. So I'm very grateful for the fact that I'm safe. Did anybody have any feelings of fear this week? I don't think I did. I tried to think about fear. Maybe the only fear I had just a little bit was about the new COVID strain, until I did a bit more research and found out that it wasn't as, um, dangerous for those of us who've had our vaccines and boosters and everything. Kimmy's saying that we've only had traces of snow 5 times, thank God. Yes. But it's cold. Yeah. We're obviously getting colder, that we've got snow on the way, but on the whole, it's been pretty good so far. No complaints. All right, so now then. Oh, Jodie's saying she had lots of fear with the pain that she was going through. Yes, Jodie literally, suffers with pain anyway, so she's very brave about pain. But this week, she suddenly got stabbing pain. I think that would be the correct way to describe it, Jodie. She suddenly got stabbing pains and obviously was terrified that the operation might not have gone well, or something else had gone wrong. But what did they say they thought it was from, Jodie? Of course, that also sounds like it, kidney stuff. Okay, and Kimmy's saying that she's having fear right now. They called for her to come in on Wednesday for the pacemaker surgery. Jodie, could you make a note of that, please, for us? Well, our thoughts and prayers go with you, Kimmy. But, I understand how terrifying that must be. But if you think about it, Kimmy, this is not new technology now. Putting in a pacemaker now is sort of like taking out your wisdom teeth. Do you know what I mean, Kimmy? It's not something that only a few people can do, or that they don't have a lot of experience in. I think I think you are aware of that, all right? This is, so many people have had this surgery now. So do you have to go far away from where you live to get that surgery done, or is it fairly local? Let me know. All right, so Jodie's explaining the stabbing pain that she had. She had barometric, not barometric. That's just, all right, what's it called, Jodie? Because now I'm thinking about barometers. It sounds the same. Bariatric, you see? I've got an M in there for the weather, right? Bariatric surgery, bypass surgery for her stomach, right? And she's saying that what the problem was, that now, because her tiny little stomach is trying to cope with real food, every now and then food will not want to travel through properly, and that's what causes the pain. All right, so that's what Kimmy's saying. She has to go to Utah to have that operation. That's 200 miles away. So, and is it sort of like an overnight thing, or what's the story on it? Do you have to be in for a number of days? Let us know, Kimmy, just so. And the other thing is, I wonder if you could update us that you are, as soon as you can, that you're okay. Just so that we can, people do care. It's outpatient stuff. Okay, isn't that incredible? Kimmy, so, and just, if you're out of it, that maybe somebody else can let us know, just so that I know you're okay. That would be awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. So let me now get on to the visit that I had. I guess a lot of you will realize that I have not seen Benji for close to 2 years. So the idea that he would go through all the tests that he had to go through, all the documentation, everything that he went through so he could cross the border and come and see me, for that alone, I was almost in tears of gratefulness. And I don't mind telling you that it also came with a reverse reaction, which I'm going to talk more about on Sunday. However, today I want to talk about the joy that I felt and the achievement. And then on Sunday, I'd like to talk about a small level of guilt and also some loneliness. And that was interesting to me because I hadn't expected it. First of all, I had a great feeling of gratitude that, thank you, God, the weather cleared up. You know, it wasn't torrential rain where we couldn't do anything. It was really beautiful spring-like weather. And so that was a wonderful start to the day, quite honestly. I had great feelings of joy because, you know, I knew about the fifth baby on the way. I call the fifth baby Peanut because that's what she looked like. They all do, don't they? But anyway, so it was obviously exciting for me to see the ultrasound close up and get to share that with him. And, you know, quite honestly, they are such good parents anyway that, you know, it's interesting. And what we were discussing big families. You know, it's unusual today, right, for anybody to have a big family. And, you know, as I said to him, I said the Pope would be happy, but I did say that you know, they have the ability to raise a big family well. All right, they have the financial ability to do so, and why not? You know, it gives them such pleasure to have children, and you know, it's amazing. You know what Benji has learned about women just by having children, you know, so many daughters. And it's really humbling to listen to him sometimes. But before he came, he asked me to write a list of the things that I wanted done. That's his, and to remember he was coming to help me. Now, can you imagine that for me that was so difficult because I hadn't seen him for 2 years, and there's part of me that just wanted to sit down and talk to him. But I had to remember his reason for coming was to help me. Does that make sense? So I had to let go of my need to talk to him because I could do that other ways. But him helping me could only happen when he's actually, you know, physically here. And that was a very big struggle. And I'll talk more about that on Sunday. So he asked me to write these lists. Well, you know, I can do lists, Jody. I do lists really well. And I made lists upon the lists. So first of all, I sat down. I thought, if I had if I had a magic wand, what do I want to get done? And I came up with this list, and that included putting up the Christmas lights, changing the rug under my living room area. I had a big rug underneath my living room area, but the problem was it covered up one of the heating vents. And my sense was if I got rid of that rug and put another one down that was smaller, that would expose the heating vent, the heat in that part of the house would be very different. And it worked. I needed to turn my mattress. When anybody comes to visit me, that's one thing we do is we turn my mattress because I'm not sure when the next person will come and visit. Raking up the last of the autumn leaves was on the list. Getting Christmas boxes out of the storage shed was on my list, along with the Christmas tree. And then, because for those of you who understand lists, I then highlighted the things that could only be done in daylight. For example, you'd be good at it to put Christmas lights up in daylight. Would you agree? It's difficult to rake leaves in after dark, but you could change the rugs inside or turn the mattress or stuff after dark. So I then had a priority list because there were the jobs that need to be done in daylight and the jobs that could be done after the sun went down. Well, if you think about it, he arrived about 11:30, and it was probably by the time we'd said hello and chit-chatted a little bit and had coffee, it was probably 12:15 before we actually got going. And that meant that we only had about 4 hours of daylight, so we had to use the time well. Now, I was pretty well prepared for his visit because I had managed to find the Christmas lights in my shed, which was quite exciting. And I had managed to test them all. Now, I mean, what happens to Christmas lights during the year? I mean, they're all nice and snug as a bug in a rug, in the shed. They're not in the rain. Then how come they worked last year and they don't work this year? I don't know, but it's the fact of life, isn't it? So of all my strings of Christmas lights, 2 worked. Maybe 3. 3 might have worked. 3 of them half worked. That was a peculiar thing. And of the 3 that half worked, 2 of them worked from the plug to the middle and then died. And then 1 of them worked from the middle to the end. How that's possible, I have no idea. So, and then I had 1 set that didn't work at all, so that got chucked. But when Benji arrived, he didn't like my lights. When he saw what needed to happen and where I wanted them, he didn't like them. So, he said, we need to go shopping. Now, can you imagine there's that part of me that goes, I don't want him wasting time shopping. I haven't seen him in 2 years. But I realized that he wasn't going to be happy unless he went shopping. I know the man well. I've known him since he was in his teens. I know the man well. If he wants to go shopping, he wants to go shopping. So I went, okay, I didn't fight it. But then I asked him the next question, which was, Benj, would it be easier for you if I don't come with you? Now, because you understand, there's that part of me that wants to chit-chat to him. Hang on a second. I'm just seeing that Sandy says she may have to cut short the broadcast, but wanted to mention it's her youngest 11th birthday. They grow up so quickly. Happy 11th birthday. Are those twins, Sandy? Why do I think the youngest are twins? I could be wrong. Oh, and she's also saying that she's stressed because her mum is flying home at the moment from Europe. Yeah, I can imagine you would be stressed. Was she in Portugal again, or I think it was Portugal she went to last time? Oh, the twins are older. They're 13. I'm not totally senile then. I did. I wasn't far off. Okay. So, and when's their birthday? And I remembered Portugal. How about? All right. My brain's still working a little bit. I'm so happy. Anyway, so what happened was, do you understand why I asked Benji? Oh, so the twins have a birthday in May. Jody, can we make a note and put that in our list, please? If she gave us a date, it would be helpful. She probably will, because she's like that. There's our Sandy. So I asked Benji, would it be quicker for you if I'm not with you? And here is something that I found really interesting. I told him where the local Walmart was, or I was about to tell him, and he said, no, I don't want to go to a Walmart. Benji is a great believer in using the local strip mall shops because he believes that they need support, for one. But secondly, he says that you get better service and less lineups in your local strip mall. Now, I think that's quite a good thought for those of you beginning to find Christmas shopping a bit stressful because of the lineups. Two things I would recommend. Number one, if you do have to go to a mega store, go after 9 o'clock at night. You will be able to run up and down the aisles without any problem at all. It's a trick I found out about 5 years ago. If you go after, take one evening and go after 9 o'clock, all the mothers with children are home, or most of them. And the interesting thing is, you basically have the store almost to yourself. Therefore, you spend very little time fighting other people. All your time is just spent shopping. And the lineups are very small. So there we go. Anyway, so he went to the local home hardware rather than go to the big box store. And when he came back, you could tell he was really happy with what he got. You know what I mean? It was just like he was just so excited to get it all together. So I helped him where he needed help. But other than that, I left him alone. Okay, so Jody, we got that May 19 for the twins, and they will be 14 on May 19 this year. Thanks, Jody. Thanks, Jody. All right, so do you guys understand what I'm getting at? Which is, I could have gone with him, but can you see that my feeling was I wanted him to be able to get those lights as quickly as possible so he could come back. And I could talk to him. I can't talk to him if he's shopping. But if I went with him shopping, I know that, I'd be making funny decisions. Oh, my next door neighbor is doing something. I'd be making slower decisions. He would just be able to, what I call man shop. Doesn't think, just that looks, that 4 of those, 3 of those, boom, done, gone. And so I needed to let go of my need to be with him. And it worked. I was very happy that it worked the way that it did. And I could tell when he got back that he was happy that he went, and and then, together we did this, a lot of the stuff, and then I left him to it because that's what he works best on his own. So I just made sure he knew I was available, and I popped out every now and then with, another cup of coffee, or just to say anything you need, just to make sure. But basically let him finish it on his own. And whilst he was doing that, I actually went into the shed and got the Christmas boxes out. Do you remember I had found out about where they were in the shed about a month ago? But so now I got the Christmas tree out and the Christmas boxes. I think I found all but one box. I know I'm missing one thing. So there's a box somewhere that I haven't identified, but I'll probably find that in the summer, ready for next year. And so I got all those into my house, but now I've got more boxes in the house. Never mind. I thought Benji had a good idea. He said, stop trying to empty the boxes in your spare room. Just close the door and just see it as an extra storage area. That would be a lot less stress. I also have to tell you that he did such a nice job with the lights that I already know that next year I want even more. And I know, because he did such a good job, and I thought, what would make this even prettier? And that would be to line the forecourt of, I've got this garden at the front, to line the whole of my front in lights would look even better. Do I need to do it? No. But would it be the next step? And you're probably wondering, what did I do with those half strings that I had? And what I did was I used them to decorate on my deck. Coming up my stairs and my deck. And so that worked really well. They weren't wasted, except for the one that didn't work. That went. So it was just awesome to do that. Now, let me carry on. About halfway through, I realized that he'd done enough in the front that if he couldn't finish it, I could finish it because he'd done the high up stuff. And I said, can I just be a nuisance now and ask if we can do the leaves? Because if necessary, I can finish the low stuff, because the low bushes and stuff I could do. And that made sense to him as well. And I've got this big bank at the back, and it was still had a lot of big maple leaves on it that needed clearing up, ready for the winter. And he said to me, what do you want me to do? And I said, well, we've got two choices. We can rake them and put them in black bags, and then on a nicer day, I will mulch them. Or you can take my weed whacker on wheels. It's like a baby lawnmower. It just is that was a great idea, getting that. I said, or you can take my baby weed whacker up there on wheels and just mulch them where they lie and let the mulch stay there. Because normally what I would do is mulch them and then put the mulch on my gardens. Well, guess what? Now they can stay there. and that's what he decided to do. And I said to him, the extra leaves that you see, just rake them down and I'll put them in a bag later. I don't need you to do that. I can do that. Because then you can get back to doing the lights. So then when he went back to do the lights, I bagged the leaves that were left over on the ground, and we were good. Great teamwork, actually. He and I work well together. And I love having these little executive meetings. All right, here are your choices. Which one do you want? Why? Men like to make decisions. And I knew I didn't really care as long as the leaves got done. And not only did the leaves get done, but they got done and my bank is mulched. I was happy that I got all the Christmas boxes I wanted while he was doing that, because it allowed me to knock one more thing off his list. And I think it was about then that we decided to stop for lunch. And, because we knew at that point we got the outside stuff done, so we had a late lunch. And I did what he would call a charcuterie board, but I call it a plowman's lunch. I had my big carving board out, and we had cheeses, and I did a whole roast of beef that I cut up so that we had roast beef, and we had cheeses, and we had crackers and all sorts of stuff, and we had a really nice lunch. And I don't know, to me that's and fruit was on it as well. So, it was a pick what you like sort of meal. And I like to do that because it's very sociable, I find. It's like you just eat when you want to, and it's good. And of course, doing it right here, where I'm here and he's on the other side, just worked really well. So then we turned the mattress. That didn't take us any time at all. But of course, when we went in to turn the mattress, he got to see the air glider. And you could tell by the way his body language changed that he wanted to try that. And I said, if you want to get on it, feel free. And he did. And he stayed on it for about 5 minutes. And he said, boy, I can feel that in my legs. He said, but I could do this for a long time. And I said, yep, that's the whole idea. So I think he was pleasantly surprised was what I would say about it more than anything. So after that, then we did the rug. Now the rug required teamwork because I needed him to lift things like a couch, one end of the couch, while I dug the rug from underneath it. And we actually got, plus what I did was I decided I wanted to swap the tables that were next to my couches and put them in a different place and take that, I've got that coffee table that comes up like a desk, or it's a coffee table that comes up like a dining room table sort of thing if you want to eat. I decided for the winter I'd really like that in that area. And so we moved everything. Took us no time at all. He was a bit worried because he didn't want me lifting tables and stuff, but I went, hey, I can do this still. Let me do it while I still can. There's going to be time later on in my life where I won't be able to do it, but at the moment I can do it. And so the only problem is what to do with the rug that we took up. And I think that will go in the spare room. I've got to make room for it first. I think what I'm going to do is sometime over the winter period is take all the boxes out of the spare room, put the rug down, and then just put the boxes on top again. However, the interesting thing is, and I was writing to Benji about that, is the difference of temperature in that sitting area is amazing. It probably has brought the temperature up by 2 or 3 degrees in there just by opening up that vent, that it's no longer covered, that the air is actually coming out. So it was well worth doing. I was really grateful, feeling of gratefulness for knowing Benji the way that I do. Because you understand, because I know him that well, I know how he works and likes to work, and therefore I could do my best to get out of his way. Does that make sense to everybody? And I think quite often women forget that people in general actually do like to do things their way. And if you want a job done quickly, tell the other person what you want done and say, hey, if you hit a problem, let me know. Or if you want my input, let me know. But otherwise, just do it your way. I've always been that sort of a manager, which is, here are you, tell me what tools you need. And the other thing was that I make quite a good apprentice. I think ahead, right? So there was quite often where when Benji went off to go get the lights, I knew that he had said that he may need a drill and he may need a ladder and this, that, and the other. So while he was gone, I made sure he had all those tools ready for when he got back. And then what we did, and I don't know if you guys do this, but after we had all these strings put together and the lights all up, then we wrapped all the connections in the easy connections. We just, hang on. The easy connections we just wrapped in this sort of film. I just happen to have it like this. I guess you could use kitchen wrap, but I love this film. So we wrapped the just one-on-one connections like that. The bigger connections, we literally took Glad bags and cut them, wrapped them around the big connections, and then rolled them in tape and made sure that they were good and tight. And it must work because we had a torrential downpour the next day and nothing, touch wood, nothing has, no breakers have gone. So it worked. Now that was nice teamwork as well. I like those collaborative moments. Can any of you imagine the feelings of great love that I had for a young man that I met when he was 17 or 18 probably, who now is the father of four and a quarter children. Um, I'm pretty certain you all know that the love that we share is very special. And I am just so grateful to have met him. And the fact that he drove all the way from the States to come and help me was very, very magical to me. And what I did was I said to him, you do realize if you put up all these lights, you're going to have to come back in January. And he looked at me and he said, no, let Doug do it. And I thought that was a good point. So after he had gone, I wrote to Doug and said, Benji said to let you know, he put the lights up. Your job is to take them down in January. And Doug just wrote back and said, sounds like a plan. So that worked pretty well too. And I thought all else fails, I'll get Wade in to help me, or my neighbors. But it's interesting to me that we have known each other for so long and that we know each other so well. He knows me really well as well. And it sort of makes life easy, doesn't it, when you know somebody that well and you know their good points and their not so good points. It's very touching. Tears in my eyes, obviously. The other thing was, I thought I would share this with you. I made the wreath. And it was so funny because I had the wreath all packed up in a certain way. And I included an S-hook. So if they needed to hang it on the mantelpiece, it would just hang. Or if they didn't want that, then they could just I said to Benji, you can choose to hang it up or use it as a centerpiece. But, the interesting thing was that I wrapped it up in such a way. And I said to Benji, please make sure that if you go through the customs, what they're going to want to know is it real? Right? Because you're not allowed to take real plants across the border. So I said, I've wrapped it in such a way that it's easy for the customs guy to feel it. And he went to hang it in the one side of his car. And I said, no, hang it on the side where the custom agent's going to be. He'll appreciate that if he needs to feel it. It's just like you can just wind down the window and he can feel it. But the thing I wanted to tell you about was I wanted to make sure he didn't forget it when he left. And so what I did is when he arrived, I said, could you please give me your car keys, honey? And he said, what? I said, could I have your car keys, please? And he said, sure. And he didn't even ask me why. He knew there had to be a good reason. So I took his car keys and I hung his car keys onto the S-hook. So he could not leave without picking up the S-hook and the wreath, all in one. Does that make sense? And I realized, it was going to be one of those things that, we'd get all caught up with chit chat and talking about stuff and we might forget it. So that was really important to me. And I didn't hear any nasty stories about getting through the border. And Jody wrote to me and thanked me for the gorgeous wreath. So I know it got there. So that's good. What else did we have? Well, the rest of it, I was going to talk to you about on Sunday. Because it brought up a lot of emotion for me, which I'm pretty certain you can probably understand. And so that's what I wanted to talk about on Sunday, was how shocked I was at how emotional I got. And I will talk to you more about why I think it happened. And it's not that I normally get emotional. to that degree, around Benji, but I did this time. And it was quite something. And it shocked me, quite honestly. However, overall, it was an awesome visit. I was so happy to see him. And, you know, I just continue to be in awe of how much he loves Judy and how much he appreciates her. And it's so genuine. It's just like, wow, isn't that wonderful? So a great visit. If you have been seeing their vlogs, you will know that I think the funny one, I saw one this morning where they were, did any of you see the bit that they put up this morning where they had a little cake for baby Leah, saying that she's now a big sister. And it was their way of telling the girls, that they had another sister on the way. And it was just like, it took a while, and then I think Juliana got it pretty quickly. She realized what it was, so it was great. Any questions? So I want to make sure that you understand that this, to me, was a monumental visit. I had not had a visit. I seem to remember that Benji came to visit me here the first month that I was here without any furniture, and before the fire, obviously. So he came around January 2 years ago. That's how long it is. So just about 2 years since I've seen him. So it is just really scary that it's been so long. And I know that his parting words to me were, let's not make it another 2 years before we see each other again. That got me. But boy, we got everything that was on the list done. That was the amazing thing. I didn't expect to get everything done in the time, and we did. And he took the time after we got all the chores done to sit and talk with me for quite some time. And so it was a really amazing, fully packed visit. It was like we got things done, we got updated, I got updated on the family. It was just like, wow. It was amazing how much we got done in such a short space of time. But it was great. Whew. All right, did that bring up anything for any of you guys? Hi, Jeannie. Good to see you. And we're so pleased to hear that York is doing well. I was saying that wearing shades in Maine in winter must be quite amusing for you. But we are so glad that his eye surgery went well. So I have to just make sure that you understand, all of you, that it just feels like such a long time since I was normal. And that, for some reason, Benji coming to visit me felt like normal. Does that make sense to anybody other than me? And I think that's why I got emotional. Right? I think that's why I reacted the way that I did. It was just like, boy, this feels like the old days, and it's been so long since we've had that feeling going on. And for all of us, who've been missing our family and friends for so long, it's going to take a little while to get it all back again. And I was very grateful that I still wasn't sick. I was a bit concerned. Now, did any of you get any concern? Well, wait a minute. Could I have given him COVID or Delta, or the new one, or vice versa. Yeah, there's a chance, isn't there? But you know something? We were both fully vaccinated, and you know, there has to be some risk in life. And so I thought it was a pretty good bet, you know, that um, I didn't see that he was going to risk me any more than I would risk him, knowing that he was about to be a proud parent yet again. And I remember that, you know, the reason it took me so long to see Doug after the or during this pandemic was because I would have seen Doug probably earlier, but he was terrified to see me and maybe make me sick. And I really felt the love in that. Yeah. So Jeannie's saying you have gotten your vaccines and so has Benji. Low risk, yes. And but there is still a risk, Jeannie, right? But the thing is, the chances of my getting sick, I'd already had some sort of a flu. You know, we're all going to get the flu. And this new one, I think, you know, from what I gather, isn't what I call a land you in hospital type flu if you've been vaccinated, right? It's, you know, we're going to just have more flu. So I believe that now, from what I can understand, and maybe you guys understand it more than I do, but my feeling is that the people who are going to get more and more sick now are the people who have chosen not to get vaccinated. And that is their right. But on the other hand, it will fill up the hospitals again, and it will mean that those of us who might get sick in some other way might not be able to get into hospital because they'll be overcrowded again. Jeannie's saying, I repeat, we have to fight for normalcy. Sometimes government wants us fearful. Um, hmm. You know, I don't think it's just government, do you? I think sometimes society wants us fearful. Uh, that's an interesting comment. You know, I'm saying that, Jeannie, because you know I've been talking to my neighbors recently, and one of my neighbors, her anger is around the fact that not enough people are fearful. That too many people are complacent, and that's here in Canada. So that's an interesting thing that I would say that I don't just think it's government. I think it's certain members of society are very angry that certain people are not being as careful as they might be, and therefore putting other people at risk. But I think it's bound to happen, and I believe there will be even bigger backlashes. I don't know what they're going to do about the mask mandates and things. I certainly know that when I go out shopping, I make sure I mask to the, yeah, I really do make sure I've got an N95 mask and I wear that whenever I go out in public. Um, and I'm pretty good. I don't know about the rest of you. I'm really pretty careful with hand sanitizer as well. You know, I'll walk into a store before I touch the buggy. You know, I will sanitize my hands and then rub it all across the handle of the buggy, and then re-hand sanitize my hands. And then when I get back in the car, I will re-sanitize my hands before I touch my steering wheel. Do any of you do stuff like that? And what I have to admit, I am no longer sanitizing my fruit and vegetables the way that we did at the beginning. How do you guys feel about that? Yeah, I think that's a good point. Jeannie's saying, I do not feel complacent because we've had the flu shot yearly and we've also dealt with COVID, but we refuse to be scared to death. Yes, I think that's called the same as I was saying, right? But also to acknowledge there is still risk, Jeannie. All right. You don't have to be scared to death, but let's not ignore the fact there is still risk, right? All right. So Jeannie's saying, I wash thoroughly when I get home. Do you still take your clothes off as soon as you get home and wash them, or that's what I'm trying to find out is, are we as diligent as we were, or do we sort of now go, okay, I'm just more careful when I'm out. I'm not necessarily hyper vigilant. That's what I'm trying to find out. Jody, you've been out and you've got compromised immune system and stuff like that. I'd be really interested to hear what you and Lionel do. And if I'm pretty certain that Erin's probably ghosting in the background here. And I wonder, because she's just been into hospital and back again. I wonder what she did. All right, so Sandy's saying, yes, we still do all those things. Jody's saying, we're still cautious, but stopped sanitizing the mail. I'm not sorry you're back, Sandy. I'm very pleased you're back. Jeannie's saying, no, I wash hands. We have had to be with others because of medical issues. Yes. And so that is the whole thing that, as we, and I would, that's why by the way, that is why I did all my Christmas shopping very early. And most of it I did, online, so that I wouldn't have to go into the crowds this year. And if I have forgotten anybody, I will put a note and say, hey, I'll give them a gift voucher or something rather than that. And, because I really have no wish to put myself through that. Jody's saying we wear masks when out and about and socially distance. Do you find that people are still doing the socially distance? Because I've noticed that they're not doing the one way as much in the grocery stores. What about where you guys live? Sandy, what about where you are in Ontario? The only one way through the grocery store, I think that's gone now. All right, so Sandy's saying she's still cleaning the food. Things are not touched for about 3 days. Yes, I love that thing. Change clothes when we come in. If we've been to a store, wash hands, still wearing masks, actually double masks. All right, so question is, when you come in and change your clothes, are you immediately putting those clothes into a wash, or do they just go in the laundry basket? Because I'm thinking, I just realized that, I've been out a couple of times and I haven't washed my jacket that I wore. Yeah, Sandy's also saying no one way in stores from what I've seen. Yeah, that's what I think. All right, so Sandy's saying she doesn't launder them straight away, but they're not touched anymore, right? They just go into the bin. Okay, good to know. That's really interested in that. Jody's saying, I've noticed it has lessened the social distancing in the big medical buildings where I've been, still monitoring temps on entering the building. Interesting. I didn't find that when I went to the doctor not so long ago. They didn't take my temperature going in, even though I was sick. If you remember, I was in pain, and that's why I went to the doctor. By the way, those muscle relaxants he gave me worked really well. They were good. It took about 24 hours for them to kick in, but once they kicked in, boy, I had to be careful not to strain myself because I was pretty sure that muscle was still badly strained, even though I couldn't feel it anymore. But I was just quite shocked how well they worked. So I've kept the rest of them. It did say take them as needed. So after about 2 days, I slowed down the rate at which I was taking them from 3 times a day to twice a day. And then I went down to once a day. And then I didn't take any more. Amazing. So I haven't we haven't had people taking our temperature going in and out of buildings. What about you, Sandy? I'm talking about here in British Columbia, where I am. Maybe it's happening somewhere else, but I haven't seen that at all. So, but I do believe that we'll probably be seeing some things come back into play now that we've got another strain of that virus, running around. That's my belief. So, I thank you all for being with me. I'm going to go and learn a bit more about my machine before we do tonight's broadcast. Do I have any special requests as to what you'd like to see me cook in it? I'm definitely going to grill some chicken. So we're going to do chicken. Anything else you'd like to see? I'm going to do some bread. I just am interested to see how it cooks bread. Oh, fries. How many of you want to see it do fries? Yum. Oh, Sandy's saying, I hope to be in later, but maybe late. Yes, well, you're going to miss the magic here. Jody, I think I'm going to do some pan vegetables for the week. Oh, I want to do some scones. All right, now then, here's the thing. What do you mean, no, Sandy? Do you call them scones or scones? You see, this is where the Brit in me has a problem because I can never remember which one is the Brit one and which one is the North American one. Yeah, Jeannie's saying she loves assorted veggies. Now, a lot of what I'm going to do, you can do in your toaster oven anyway. So, you don't have to have an air fryer to do it. But I just want to check, how it works. So we're going to do all sorts of things. Long O, so scones. This, all right. So scones in the US, right? Scones in England. Okay, got it. All right, we can do that. And then what we will do is, what I liked about the size of this, though, is I could have it here. And when I'm doing the cooking stuff, I could stay here. I didn't need to keep going over there if necessary. Most of it I could do within arm's length, which to me was going to be more fun for me. So, as you can see, it does have a metal inside, but I'm not sure if it's stainless steel. That I've got to check. It's not that very shiny stainless steel. So the chance that they do say that you need to wipe it out every time you use it, but I still think that it's going to get stained very easily. However, I did do one test on it just so that you know, to see, it says it goes to 500. My question was, does it really? I didn't get, I put my thermometer in there and I think the highest it went to was 425. But here's something interesting that I didn't know. They said not to put aluminum foil on the drip tray because it would make the heat inside overheat. Interesting. So that's will the fact that I've put a black thing at the bottom there make the heat go down? We'll find that out this evening. It's so cute. It reminds me of my freezer or my fridge. So I'm going to have great fun preparing stuff ready for us to play with this evening. And the reason I'm doing scones today is because I need to use, and this is what I want you to think about. What do you need to use up this week? I need to use up cranberries, and that's why I want to do some cranberry scones. And also I need to use up cucumber, but that I will be eating as snacks. So, do you do that? Do you go through your fridge each week and see what is it you've got, or your pantry, and just see what it is you want to use? Jeannie, if you've got your favorite scone recipe, send it to me this afternoon and I will gladly talk about it. All right, so I'm going to, anything else you can think of to cook with cranberries, let me know. I thought, that's why I'm doing the chicken, because cranberries and chicken goes well as well. It's just like I bought a cranberries in bulk, and I put them over salads and so forth. But I'm going, I need to be using them a little faster. Question, Jody, do you happen to know dried cranberries? How long are they good for? Are they sort of, once they're dried, indefinite? By the way, Jody, you remember the problem I had with the other air fryer that I got was that it only had a 1 hour maximum. What I love about this, is let me do oven, bake. Okay. And all right, let's see how long it will go for. Oh, go back there. No. Learning moment, people. Flash. Okay. All right. It goes for 10 hours. So now it means I can dehydrate. All right, thank you, Jody, saying properly stored dried cranberries will maintain their best quality for about 12 to 18 months, but will remain safe beyond that time. Yes, and that's the whole thing. Can you believe that it goes to 10 hours on, which means I can dehydrate? That's exciting to me. Are any of you bird lovers? The reason is I've been meaning to make some treats for my neighbor, who's a big bird feeder person, and I wanted to make some Christmas treats for her birdies. And that has to do with orange and honey dehydrated and then put on a string. I seem to remember. I'll have to look that up again now. But I remember seeing it last year and thinking that's a really good present to give to somebody who likes birds. So that is so exciting. I didn't expect it to go for that long. It's all a learning moment, people. Why can't you get any of Jody's comments? I don't know. I have no idea, Jeannie. I would say the chances are that maybe you need to refresh. That's possible. Or it's just taking a while for them to come through, maybe. The reason I'm panicking a bit here is Oh, Jody is saying, Jeannie, so please let Jeannie know she may have blocked me by accident. All right, if she has, how does she unblock you? I've got to work out how to turn that off now. So what's happening is that the fan is going and I don't know how to turn the fan off. I'll have to do a bit of research into that. All right, so Jody's saying if she checks YouTube Google settings, there is a category for blocked users. Okay, so go to YouTube and then go to settings. Yes, you're right. It's interesting. Let's just double check though on that. Let's just double check. Jeannie, is this all of Jody's comments for the whole broadcast or just now? All right, Jeannie's going to contact Jody after the broadcast. Okay. All right. Oh, all right. So that's actually good. All right. So Jeannie, if you hover your cursor over Jody's picture, her little icon, and then right click it. No, does that do it? No, that doesn't do it. Which way does it? Anyway, Jody will help you. She's good. It turned off. Thank goodness. I've got to find out how to turn that fan off when you want it off. But I know the wraparound, what do you call it? The workaround for it now. All right, so I hope you've enjoyed the update, and I hope you felt how many feelings I had this week and how many feelings they brought up for me. And as you will hear on Sunday, the most peculiar thing was, in a way, I feel that that visit by Benji allowed me to release some feelings that I must have had stored for some time and I didn't know. And so it was a really important visit to me on so many different levels. And I am very happy about it. I am so grateful that he came. And obviously, by the way, almost immediately after he had gone, the next day, the grocery guy came and he just said to me, "Great Christmas lights." And I went, "Uh-huh." And by the way, what I also did, for those of you who don't know, I put my bay windows are 3 of them. There's one flat one and 2. I got to leave my cooking list there. So the big bay windows I have go like this. All right, so the side ones are slightly angled. But what I've done on the one in my living room is I have put my Christmas tree in front of the middle one with all its lights and everything. And so I'm not pulling down the shades at night. I'm leaving it open because the Christmas tree takes up just about the whole of that center window. And therefore it acts as its own blind. But also it means that my lighted tree is available for everybody to see. And that to me is sharing my tree with everybody who might want it. But it was so cute because as I said, the grocery delivery guy made a point of saying how great the lights looked. So I let Benji know that. But I've had about 3 other people talk to me about it. And one of my neighbors, said she might need to get new sunglasses because of the bright lights opposite her. I thought that was cute. All in love. All right, everybody. So I'm going to love you and leave you. Go play. More than anything, I want to experiment so I don't set off any major fire alarms when we do the broadcast tonight. But there is a possibility I will. So be prepared for anything. And I hope that we will have some fun. This is DearMamaSal saying, understand that feelings are really important to get in touch with. It doesn't matter if you are fearful of something. It matters that you are able to feel it, all right, and then deal with it, and then compensate for it. It doesn't matter that you are feeling joy. And then suddenly there was that part of me, as you heard, when he said, I need to go buy new lights. It wasn't that I didn't have enough. It was I didn't have enough of what he wanted. And therefore, what he told me was correct. He needed to buy more lights because he wanted to do it in his way. And if I had stopped him from doing that, I would have taken away some of his fun. Does that make sense? So my feeling of guilt, I didn't even bother to ask, can I pay for them? Because, he would have just given me that look. This was like his gift to me, and I understood that. And so what I want you to do is to be aware that we get in the way of so many good things, all right? That our feelings get in the way of other people's feelings so often. Remember when he wanted to go shopping, I let him go on his own because it would be faster. All right. Even though I desperately wanted to sit in the car and chat with him on the way there and on the way back, but I knew it would be faster if I let him just go and do it on his own. And therefore, I would have more time with him later. And I felt so many good feelings about understanding the man and being able to honor that, if you like. So it's going to be a stressful time if we make it stressful, and it's going to be a fun time if we make it fun. I knew we only had a few hours together, and I wanted to pack as much into those few hours as we possibly could. And I believe we achieved it. And I'm very, very happy with what we did. So this is DearMamaSal saying, I love you dearly. Wish me luck as I play. I will hopefully have some fun things to do. I was wondering whether we should actually try toast. Oh, I'd have to bake the bread first, though. Okay. So I'm thinking chicken and probably chicken fingers, right? You would probably want to see. Yeah, we'll do half a chicken breast as grilled chicken and half of it as chicken tenders. Yeah, we can do that. We'll see you tonight. This is DearMamaSal saying thank you for being with me, and we'll see you tonight for some more fun. Bye-bye for now. Thanks, Jody.